Excuse me?
Everyone thinks they're getting a good deal.
You said win-lose.
What's a win-lose tactic? You know any win-lose tactics?
Somebody goes away disappointed.
I'm sorry?
Somebody goes away disappointed.
Well, that's a description of a win-lose situation. One side or the other, sometimes both, go away disappointed. There are really 2 or 3 different scenarios, 3 or 4 different scenarios. Win-win. Now, I haven't seen in the last 25 years any negotiating course or instructor or speaker described any other way, negotiating, than as win-win. Okay? Good friend of mine, I'll just say his first name, Roger. Good friend of mine is a lecturer on negotiations. He's been doing it for 25 years, I think. It's very well known. And here is an example of one of his tips on negotiating. Guy tells you his price. Tell me your price. $1,000. Is that the best you can do? What is that? Now that's a nationally famous negotiation instructor's very first lesson in negotiating. Is that the best you can do? What is that? I'm sorry? I know it's a question. What does it sound like to you? Is that the best you can do? Well, excuse me. Yeah, it says you're too high. But what are we talking about? Why are we even talking about price yet? Do we know anything? Huh. How do you really? I mean, if you're going to make sure the other person feels like they won, what do you have to know? What it is that they want. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Maybe we should talk about want negotiating. Instead of win-win. We talked about want would be real easy, I think. A lot easier to figure out how to make a win-win. What does he want? What does my prospective buyer want here in this building? Seller. He wants to go home to New York. Why? He's moved away from his family. He's down here where nobody loves him. That's the truth. Nobody loves this guy. Nobody loves this guy. The city is beating up on him. His creditors are beating up on him. I'm beating up on him. Everybody's beating up on him. Poor guy is unloved and unwanted. He wants to go back home. Just by coincidence, this guy lives in Scarsdale, New York, which is where the guy I took the building away from in the first place lived. Not on the same road, though. Want negotiating means I got to find out what he wants, and that's not $16 million. He don't want $16 million. He wants to go home. What are some of the basic emotional wants that we have as human beings?